What's shaking, bacon? In today's video, I'm gonna discuss what it was like being on the lion diet for 4 months. So I'd like to say, for anyone who's been following along and curious about how this has gone, thanks for your support and tuning in to see how this is going. This lion diet has been very simple. I think above all, that's my favorite thing about this way of eating, was it was so easy and simple. It was 4 months of just beef, salt, and water. It doesn't get any more simple than that. You don't worry about thinking about your next meal. You're always getting by long windows of time without eating. I think the thing I love about this the most is I could cook a few pounds of ground beef and just warm it up over the next couple days whenever I wanted to eat. So there wasn't much prep time in the kitchen. So there's so much time saved eating this way. It's a huge load off. There's just not much cooking involved. So the downfall of it is there's not much cooking involved. So, I'd like to cook, but with something like this, this is my busy time of year at the end of the year. I'm recording this on January 1st. So my work gets really busy as people tend to work through their benefits more at the end of the year. My November and December usually get swamped, and having such a simple way of eating has made life way more manageable during my regular crazy windows of work where I'm doing 10, 12, 14-hour days. So the simplicity of this diet is probably one of the shining highlights of this way of eating. I can also go such long windows of time without eating. I tried not to most of the time, but I noticed it happened a couple times in November, and it happened a lot in December because I was so busy. So I might have a big breakfast or lunch, and then I might not eat again till later in the day or evening. Now, I was still having about 4,000 calories, about 4 pounds of ground beef a day. At the same time, I wasn't hungry throughout the day. I might have had breakfast at 8 or 9 o'clock and not had dinner till 6 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, and I was fine. I also cook with a sous vide sometimes. So whenever I had steaks, oh man, it's such the way to go. It's because I can set the machine while I'm at work over my phone. It's set up through Wi-Fi, so I just have to put the meat in the bag. I just have to put the bag in the water. I just have to turn on the machine that's dunked in the water, and then just let it rest. Let it do its work while I'm at work. Then when I come home, I don't have to cook. I just have to sear the steak. So it made life even easier. So yeah, it's such a great way to go. Between not having to eat too often, unless you want to, and having ways of cooking that make it really easy. So, I don't have to finish work at 8 o'clock, come home by 8:15, cook a steak, finally sit down at 9 o'clock to eat. None of that. I'm usually eating by 8:10, so maybe 8:15. As soon as I get home, I just have to sear it. It happens so fast. So it's nice. I really enjoy that aspect of it, the simplicity and the ease, both without having to think about what to eat, as well as the long windows of time you can go without eating because you're so satiated being on an all red meat diet. One of the other benefits is I just don't eat out nearly as much on this way of eating. So I saved a ton of money. Not only is it an affordable way to eat because ground beef is very affordable, if you're only having a few pounds of meat a day and you get it on sale for $3 a pound, as I've said before, that's not an expensive way to eat. So even if you're paying full price, that's still not an expensive way to eat. One of the other things is my energy's been great. I mean, it's been really great. It was already good doing the carnivore diet, but it gets even better doing this lion diet. I'm waiting to see what the contrast is going to be like going back to a regular carnivore diet. If I notice anything, because sometimes the benefits you feel are so gradual over weeks, you don't notice it until you go back to a different way of eating. And going back to a clean diet like the carnivore diet, I'm expecting to notice something, but I might not. We'll find out. That sharp contrast of going back to bacon and chicken will be interesting. So I've already had some mortadella today. It's an Italian deli meat. That was really nice. And it was expensive. You know, you're paying about $10 a pound for those deli meats, but it was a really nice treat after 4 months of just having red meat. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the red meat, but, and I didn't find it as repetitive as you might think. You know, I didn't get tired of it, to my surprise. I thought I might, but no, I didn't. I did notice when I had a late dinner, say at 8 or 9 at night, and it was a good sized dinner, I was warm all night long. Instead, I like sleeping with my window wide open at night, like a cold bedroom. And I wouldn't even use a sheet some nights because I was so warm. Usually I have a sheet and a blanket, and sometimes the blanket's folded over twice. And no, those nights I noticed I just was that much warmer that I couldn't. So if there's one side effect, some little thing I learned about myself that I didn't notice before, was that when I have a high protein and fat meal not long before bed, I'm warm. But I never noticed that ever having any other types of foods. Even on a regular carnivore diet, I never noticed that. Might have happened, but I haven't noticed it. But I know to pay attention to it now. Would I do it again? Yes, most definitely. So I'm going to be doing it again in February. The reason why I'm skipping it for January is when pork goes on sale, nice and cheap, when I can get pork shoulders really affordably. And getting pork shoulders really affordably means I can make a lot of sausage. And I like to make capicolo, and that's an Italian cured deli meat. I really like that meat, and I can't say I'm doing the lion diet in January if I know there's going to be one day where I have to make the sausage, because I have to taste test it while I'm cooking it. And another thing I was going to do in the new year was cut out my salt just for a month or so and see how it went. Now, January isn't going to work, because if I'm making a sausage and I have to taste test this sausage, I'm putting salt in it. So I'm not going to ruin my results by going, say, 2 or 3 weeks without salt and then having it on the third week, possibly. And then, you know, sometimes it takes a few weeks for the impact to, you know, finally make a difference. So I'm going to go back to just a regular carnivore diet for January. And then come February and March, I'm going to possibly do a regular carnivore diet, or I might go back to the lion diet, but at least one of those 2 months in February or March are going to be without salt. So January is going to be a regular carnivore diet, but what I am doing through the whole 3 months is only tops 2 pounds of meat a day. I'm going to see how I feel. If I can get by on a little less, I might, because now I'm going to work a little more towards weight loss. The whole goal of the first 4 months of this lion diet and fitness challenge was to see how much muscle I could keep on while I lose weight. And ideally, if I could even put on a little bit of muscle. Now that was working at first, but we're going to find out when I do my bod pod and DEXA scan test to see what my body fat and lean mass percentages are. So that's going to be in a few days. I couldn't get it in January 1st because of the holidays. So the way it works is I have to wait till, I think my appointment for my DEXA scan is on the 4th. So even though I'm going back to this other way of eating, I'm going to keep my 4 pounds of meat up a day, just because I don't want to go down to 2 pounds of meat and possibly have it affect my 4-month tests. You know, if I eat less for those few days. So technically, I'm not going to start my January challenge of 2 pounds of meat a day until I get my scans done. Overall, I've been very satisfied with this way of eating. I can't complain. I found it very comfortable. I thought I'd get tired of the red meat. I didn't. Now, I stayed full all the time. The whole goal of this was to stay full all the time. I know I lost weight. On my weight belt, I use a weight belt for my deadlifts and my squats, and I found I'm down 3 notches, almost 4. I'm really starting to push on the 4th hole. So I'm probably down about 4 inches on my waist when I do these exercises, and those belts don't really stretch. So that's the neat thing about those belts. So they don't lie. So I'm down 4 inches on my waist in 4 months, and that's pretty cool. I can't complain about that. Now, I did hope for more, but I don't know still what went wrong, but we'll find out when I do my DEXA scan. And probably my next video or the video after is going to be more about those tests, probably the video afterwards, because I don't think I get those tests until the middle of this week. So by the time I get the results and everything, it'll be Saturday. I had my blood work done a couple weeks ago. So in the about the middle of December. So that's the best I could do as far as lining it up with the end of my challenge. So I do know my cholesterol was high, my triglycerides were higher than when I did carnivore. Now, I'm interested to see why that is. Now I've been having a lot of meat, so that would make sense, like red meat, so that would make sense. But I also don't have fish oil in my diet, so I'm looking forward to going back to fish oil for a month. I like taking cod liver oil. I find it's really good for dry skin in the winter, and I will miss that when I go back to the lion diet in February and March, because those are the really dry months, and taking a cod liver oil is the best thing I've ever done. Just take a teaspoon every day or every second day, and no dry skin at all. So anyway, I'm very happy and satisfied with doing this lion diet. I'll definitely do it again. I really enjoyed it. I might even try it one time for a long stretch without salt, depending on how my small February and March challenge goes. Because if I get partway through that challenge, salt's a very important mineral. And if I'm weightlifting and that just means my body needs that salt and I start getting really bad leg cramps, I'll probably stop. I expect a transition, knocking salt out of my diet in February, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. I expect to get some leg cramps while I'm adjusting, but if it doesn't even out and level off and back away, then I'm interested. I will reintroduce salt again, because I tell you, my leg cramps get bad. They're right up there with my kidney stones. That's how bad my leg cramps are. When I get them in the front especially. My hamstrings, not so bad. So thanks for tuning into this. My lion diet challenge, I think, was a success. I didn't cheat with a lick, taste, or bite. And I think that's really important. Consistency is the other important thing when you do a way of eating like this. And it took me years to get to the point where I feel like I've done this consistently. I've been doing the carnivore diet all year. So for one solid year, I've been doing carnivore diet. In the last 4 months of that year, I did the lion diet. So I've had good results with both, and I noticed it does help a lot when you switch up to the lion diet. Well, I shouldn't say it helps a lot. It's like a 9 out of 10 versus a 10 out of 10 as far as how good I feel. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.